Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the Tangle loop from CZT Amelie Liao, and I hope I pronounced that at least close. All right, this is a fantastic tangle, and we had a lot of fun with it. Today is a Tough Tangle Tuesday. And so I like to do some of the more involved tangles. I reserve them to do on our Tough Tangle Tuesday. It's a free class. I do them 2 times a day, and you can check out my website if this is something that might interest you. I will show you some of the samples that I did afterwards. But we have a lot of fun exploring. Exploring tangles in general, but like I said, this was more of a bit of a challenging one. All right, and there's of course more than 2 options, but as you'll see in the For More Inspiration link, where Emily shows some of her art, it's gorgeous, and so let me show you the first one first, and then we'll get to the second one, and you'll understand. Okay, so this one starts off with, you can think of it as either a diamond or a square, and I'm gonna make it squared to this bijou tile, so that way, and let me, okay, I want to make sure that my pen tip is showing. Okay. And I'm going to do mine just a little bit curved. I saw this after I did my step outs, and I was like, oh, look at that. She kind of has it, curved a little bit, and isn't that neat? So you can do, do it absolutely straight or, with a little curve. Either way works out great. Okay, so once you have that set, and of course you play with, after you do it once, play with the size, and have fun with it. The next step, we're going to put loops on the 4 corners, and we'll utilize the takeoff and land concept. And if you don't know what that is, we do use that a lot, but maybe this is the first video you've watched of mine, where I explain it. So the takeoff is, we're going to make this like a little bit of a runway here. And so we're going to trace over just a little bit. We're coming up, we're making a loop, and then we're going to come down and we're going to land on the other side just like that. We use this technique a lot with tangles like cadent, and things where we're doing orbs. But it works really nicely with this because you see how it just merges right in. If we were to say, oh, let's just do a tethered orb or a teardrop shape right here, it ends up having a little bit different look. I call it like continuity. And it does sort of add to that. It just makes it look like it's part of your work instead of just, oh, I stuck this on here. We'll do that again for all 4. And there we go. The one thing that I neglected to mention now, and hopefully if you're tangling along with me, we'll just make it work. When you do the square, you want to make sure that it's small enough so that way you have room for the loops. So, all right. So just something in the future to be aware of. Or if you're just watching and you haven't tried it yet, just be aware of that. Okay. Now, it doesn't matter where you start on this, but what we're going to do is we're going to essentially aura, but we're also going to use the takeoff and land concept. Let me get right here square. Okay. But we're going to start like at the tip of the loop, and you're going to come off slightly, and we're right here essentially auraing. Let's see if I can get it back on there with just 1 stroke. Yes, good. I made it too large. I was like, okay, I can kind of get it, and then what I was trying to avoid is lifting up my hand. I could have stopped probably right there on that intersection or something, and then shifted a little bit. That's probably a little wiser. But so we're coming out. We're doing a little, like I said, of the takeoff and land, and what we're merging out here, coming around, essentially auraing this line, and then merging back in to the loop up here. After this step, we're going to be utilizing the Hollabal technique. So I am just turning my tile, and for whatever reason I like drawing it this way versus this way, and the other option is, I could draw it like this going underneath. I like to have my hand planted as much as possible and use that natural curve. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. So again, at the top, now here is where we're going to Hollabal. And what that means, and watch as I do it, but what I'll do is I'll be picking up my pen, traveling it over this band that we've created now, and then coming up on the other side. All right. And of course that line we're just going over, because you can't really Hollabal a straight line. But here's this, and then you can kind of shift a little bit, and then if you need to like retrace it and put your pen down, because it's similar to the takeoff and land concept, when we do this, it's one continuous thought, and it helps make it look like, oh, I drew this, somehow I drew this behind, or like as if you erased it, because we don't do that in Zentangle. All right, then, and all this is turning the tile, doing the same thing over and over. Now this one, so all of these other ones, I had to aura over one band is what I'm calling them. This one we're going to have two. Now, if you have done the Tangle aura knot, I should have mentioned that earlier, then this will seem all so familiar to you. If you've not done it, I do believe I have a video on that one. Okay, now, this is where, not just where the fun starts. You can stop at any time. At any point that you want to, you can stop. I do recommend you doing it going all the way around. That is always good. Okay, so I'm just going to continue, and same thing, and just pulling out a little bit more, and then, and all of these from here on out, you have your aura in two sections, not just the one. And this you can play with how wide your auras are, or your bands are, whichever way you want to think about it. And it's just a really good one to go slow. This one really works on the mindfulness aspect, because you really have to have a nice focus to get it to work right and be happy with it. I mean, and the stroke itself isn't difficult. Let's see, that's twice around. Let's do one more time. And what's neat is the pattern that emerges as you do it. And it's like it's like a weave. It's like a basket. Well, it's like we're creating a basket underneath. And so again, however many times you want to go around, you go around. Or you can do it until you have no more space. That works too. And this one, you're getting a little bit bigger aura. You might have to, do the air draw. Oops, and I do have one more, because I was thinking that looks rather rectangular in the insides there. And there we have it. Okay, I could probably go around once more, but you get the idea. Now let me share a couple things. If you get lost, this is one where you want to try to at least make it all the way around once, and then if you need to take a break, then do so. You could always count the number of lines, or the number of bands, to figure out where you're at. I would have to do this sometimes. I was like, oh, did I turn it? Did I not? Oh, I don't know. But yeah, just counting those, and then you'll see where you're at. And if they're all the same, then you know that you can just start fresh. Oh, but with that, the other thing is you can tell inside here what your last step was. So like for instance, if I had this here, think, oh, was this my last step? Nope, because this is on the inside, this came later. So I was like, oh, okay, because that is touching. There's like, okay, there's nothing really outside. So either this one or this one was the last. And I'm going to guess it's this one because there's nothing touching, so this is the way it was drawn. There's nothing touching it this way. So this is going to be the last one that I did. Sometimes it's just helpful. And I don't remember who came up with it. I know it was somebody in our Tangle Addicts group that had mentioned it. This might have been something that Rick came up with. If you're in when you're doing paradox, it's similar to this where you could get lost, and the recommendation was, well, just come out and stop like part way somewhere, so that way there is no doubt, and you also don't have to count. So there's a thought there as well. So this is loop as Emily has put it in her step out, but when you look at her for more inspiration, you will see that there are some other things. Actually, and I'll take the moment now, and we'll just share some of the stuff that we did this afternoon. I decided I wanted to try it on black and do some highlighting. And then this, decided I wanted to do it on gray with blue and do some extra fun highlighting, because with a gray tile, you can use white as well. In our AM class, Mom decided that, it might be a really good idea to help you from getting lost if you do each line or each go around in a different color. So that's what I decided to do here. And then this is similar to what Emily has on the For More Inspiration, like on the Tangle Patterns link. And I was looking through, and I saw the step out. The step out describes this, and then this was pictured. I was like, well, now wait a minute. So I do have a step out. I'm calling that the double, and I might put all. So I ended up doing 3 step outs for this. One just because I needed what I called one the deep dive, and so I'll put all 3 of them on just in case that helped, because we had some people that just had trouble. With the process. So I thought, a deep dive, at least getting through the first 2 rounds of bands, and I was told it was helpful, so that's good. That's what I like to be, is helpful. So let me show you how to do, and I'm actually going to try, because I had a revelation on this one, and I'm like, oh, well, now I'll have opportunity to give that revelation a try. Okay, so we're going to start off either way with a square or a diamond, because we're gonna overlay them, like as if you were, you have this and then we have that. Okay, so and I need to make sure to leave enough room, especially on the sides here. So we might do this one a little bit. Well, we'll see. We'll see what the pen wants to do. Pen wants to be the same. Well, this one, it's okay, because these loops go in the corners. I wasn't very careful on that one. And all right, so in the step out, maybe I'll have to make a note before I post it. I'll post what I have. It might change. Or I might put a note on it and re-upload it. What I put in the step out was to do this, or actually even before the loops, and then do the other shape right away. What I'm going to do now is, because I realized that, well, you know what? It works both ways. It works both ways. It depends on the look that you want to get. And let me do this the way I'm thinking, and then we can compare it with what I had done. So let's go. We just want to get one band all the way around. Yes. So the challenge is that you're going to have at least this one line that is going over. There's just really not any way around that, at least Zentangle wise, because what we want to do is, you know, not a lot of planning and all of that kind of thing. So we just make do as it is. Okay, so then there's that band, and we're using the Hollabal technique on the one side, right? Okay, and then one more. Neaten that up a little bit. Oh, well, now that I've done that, well, I could go back and I can, well, now that I'm doing it, why stop now? Okay, so once you've gone all the way around, then let's do this the other way. Again, I want to leave. I think I'll make these loops maybe a little bit smaller, but I'm going to shoot for here. We're going to use the Hollabal technique, okay, and drawing underneath this. And that's why you have to draw that first band, because that's what I didn't do as I was first looking at this. And I thought, oh, just do a box and then another box, and then alternate doing the diamond or the square, you know, and alternate doing them. That part I think will still stay the same. Okay, let's get these loops here. And then, of course, similarly, we're going to do the same thing. Same process. All right, right. The first line we do go over. This one I have found that it's helpful to make sure that, you know, so, oh, here's where my target is. You know, here's where I'm starting. Here's where my target is. And just to kind of, you know, if you have to air draw it or whatever. All right, let's try the second one. And this one, right off the bat, we're auraing over, well, really, 3 things. Or 2 things, it depends. The first one is 2, and then the second one, 3. 1, 2, and then that one. Okay. And I keep wanting to pick up my pen, you know, for that straight line. It's like, well, that does no good. You can't aura under a straight line. Okay. All right, last one around. Okay. And then from here, I do believe then we can just continue to alternate. So I did it this way. So I'm just going to hit the next one, and then I'm going to do the corners. That might be an easier way for me to think of it. The corners. Let's see if I can slow up a little bit, because I'm feeling the sloppiness. Okay. Make sure to hit but not go over the lines that we're hollabowing. I have a tendency to, I either seem to go over it, or I get just shy of it. And I really should make these ones a little bit bigger. And try to just focus on the line that you're auraing, and not think too much about anything else. Let's see. And then do pay attention too. It's like, okay, that's a band, that's a band. And if it even requires just a little dot right in there, then I would do that little dot. Because as I like to say, it makes it convincing that we're drawing underneath. Okay, and I've got all the way around because I've got 3 lines on either side. Okay, so I ended here, so we will just continue right here with the next one, and now we're doing the little ones. Let's get you to match. So this is like I said, this is why this one is on when I put our Tough Tangle Tuesday, because you know the stroke is easy. It's not like we're doing anything, you know, with a bunch of swirls or things. The technique of hollabowing, generally easy. But sometimes when you put these things together, it just makes it a bit of a challenge. Okay, and that's it. And you can see the neat shape that's taking place. Let's do one more round. It's like still working to neaten it up. And if you feel like I'm feeling, oh, this is looking a little sloppy, well, just keep working. That the next set of lines. Look at that. Can just be, and as you see, I'm sliding. I'm like, oh. You're probably all laughing because you see it and I don't until all of a sudden I'm like, I'm off the table. It's that focus thing. Yeah. But it is a really neat tangle, and like I said, you can see why we put some of these where we put them, where I put them on the Tough Tangle list. Just because sometimes it's a lot of steps, sometimes it's just a little bit extra focus that's needed, as in this one, and just paying close attention. But the ones that we have to pay close attention to like this are the best ones if you're wanting to have this be a mindfulness exercise or a meditation. Then these ones are great because then you have to be immersed in what you're doing, and that was that. So then we just do one more round on the inside these ones. But yeah, you have to be totally immersed in what you're doing, so that way it I don't want to say comes out right because there's no right and there's no wrong, but that way you're happy with the result. And if you're not happy with the result, usually that just means it's not done yet. We had several today that we think either created a new tangle, or actually it's some that it just it didn't come out exactly right, but they found a way to make it work, and that's all right. Okay, I think just one more. Yes. And then the other thing is also trying not to worry about the outcome and just continue to do and have fun with it, or have as much fun as you can with it. And then there's always the decorating that can happen. So I didn't do much I just did more shading. But some of the things that you can do are fill in a band and go all the way around. If there's something that is like, I just really don't like X, then that's what you could do. You could also shade it. So, like with the pencil. So if I decided, oh wait, let's do, where's my Fabrico? Or do I have we'll just use that. Let's see what, well, it's gray. But for instance, because where did I have it? For whatever reason, I double did my pencil there, or my pen. And it made it a little thicker. So one great way to disguise or course correct could be filling in like this. I could just fill it in black too, and that would totally cover it up. But turning this into your own coloring book works too, and it just depends on what what you feel like and what, you know, how your tangle talks to you then. And if you subscribe to my blog, so if you go to tangleaddicts.com, on the upper right hand side, oh, and see that kind of look, it's neat, just like that. Could do you know, orbs or other things inside. It is completely up to you. But if you subscribe to my blog, then in the next few days, I will get the recaps for today's Tangle Times that we did, plus pictures. So I do screenshots at the end of each session, and then people will either email me or I'll get it off of our lovely Facebook group or Instagram, and I will grab the pictures from there and share them, just because it's nice to see the close-ups, because the screenshot is just a screenshot. It's going to be blurry and whatnot. So what I'm doing is we'll just add, this is how I did most of the shading on the other ones that I did. So where these lines meet, they can look like they're tucking under, right? If we were thinking of this as, you know, a weaved object. And nope, that's Kitty. There we go. And just bringing it out and up a little bit. I could put some up at the tip also, which I probably will do, but I wanted to just at least see this first. Ooh, this is going to be one of the, well, because I decided to do the variation on the same. One time there was a tangle that had like 3 variations, and I did them all in separate videos, and I wasn't happy with doing that after the fact. And having listened to some, you know, other people that do videos, they said, you know what, if it's a long one, just make it a long one. If it's a short one, just make it a short one, and don't worry about, you know, making steps. And I remembered it kind of after the fact, or I just needed to test that theory out myself. I'm like, okay, yeah, they were right. Sometimes it's just as long as they need to be. So this is what makes, if you see neat tangles that kind of have that shiny look, this is what does it. And I think I need to come back at the base and maybe go a little bit, oh yeah, a little bit darker, because the contrast is what helps with that. And actually that one is way darker than the others. But you get the idea. Always go back and add more is my philosophy, versus going too dark too soon. I had too many participants in classes that would go put too much on too soon and over, you know, too much of an area, and it would just be like gray, and it was sadness. So we don't like to have any sadness. Oh, see, that's neat. And then actually this is kind of what I did on the blue one. So we're gonna copy that. So I'm just putting some graphite in each corner. It's easier when you're using a toned paper, because you can then, like I did with the blue, because then I have the ability to use the white charcoal pencil. Not that I couldn't come back and do that, you know, add it in here. It's just not the same effect as you know, when you do it on a toned paper. I have tried it just as a matter of rescuing, as course correcting. But let's just get this out a little bit. And I always kind of use my own rule of thumb of, you know, going in a third, and have a third be the natural tile color, you know, or if you're adding in the white, to be the white, so that way you get that really neat shiny look. So, oh yeah, wow, I hadn't looked in the camera until I was done. It's nice to get the surprise, you know, and then you can play with it all you want, but there we go. Lots of fun. You see the difference in that center. It creates a really neat look. This has more of the look of Aeronaut on the inside, but fun tangle. It's a nice one when you really need to have that escape and just be able to focus in on what you're doing. It is a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed it. if you did, would love to have a thumbs up, and feel free to share it with people that that you know like to draw. I hate to use the word doodle, but if they like to doodle. And if you liked it enough to see more and have not yet subscribed to the channel, I would love to have you be a subscriber. Of course, subscribing to the channel is free. And I already mentioned or alluded to my Tangle Time sessions. Or no, this was Tough Tangle Tuesday. But on Thursdays, I do Tangle Time. That is also free. And we have a lot of fun. I reserve ones that are tougher like this for Tough Tangle Tuesday, which is a once a month. But we have a lot of fun. Would love to have you join us if you're looking to do something live. Like I said, it's a lot of fun, and it's neat to participate like that, and then be able to share your results afterwards if you want to. And it's really fun. You have to come and experience it. All right, with that, I think that's everything. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I wish you lots of happy tangling.